This is Valley View News.
I don't get enough financial aid.
Every semester tuition goes up.
Student loan debt is still on the rise, with students trying to afford tuition in this economy.
It's a shame. It really is a shame.
Like, what are they going to do? Get rid of the Kodak and just have theater?
An iconic landmark in Hollywood is getting a new name. Educators in San Diego learn techniques to prevent bullying against gay students.
Welcome to Valley View News. I'm Raul Delgado.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Goodman.
A shooting at a suburban Cleveland high school has killed at least one student and injured several others. By Monday afternoon, officials reported that one student died at the scene and 4 were wounded. A gunman opened fire in the Chardon High School cafeteria just as class was beginning. A witness says the wounded students are from Auburn, a nearby school. They were in the cafeteria waiting for a bus to Auburn when they were shot. The suspected shooter was arrested.
The Center for Excellence in School Counseling and Leadership held its 3rd annual conference about preventing gay bullying. Tawny de la Peña has more on the event in San Diego.
Teachers from around the nation now know how to better help LGBT students. Fabian Combe came from West Palm Beach, Florida, after a suicide at her school. The student had just come out as gay.
I don't think they should hide. It's very sad that so many people have to not be who they are because of prejudice.
Combe is one of hundreds of teachers who learned more about LGBT students.
That's what I'm here. I really want to open up the doors at my school for those kids to come out and feel free to be who they are.
The support organization SESCAL had its 3rd annual National Educator Conference focusing on lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender youth. This year's San Diego conference is entitled Supporting Students, Saving Lives. Sarah Train is a gay advocate from Los Angeles. She came here to show teachers techniques to make schools safe.
It makes everybody feel like they are a part of a community and nobody's isolated and alone.
The conference had a strong focus on bullying. Keynote speaker Gautam Raghavan, LGBT liaison from the White House, says he was bullied himself.
In the last couple of years, we've seen so many kids who've been bullied or harassed, and some of whom have taken their lives.
That's also a message No Hate is sending to high school students. The No Hate campaign is a broad effort to encourage LGBT people to speak openly about their lives.
Breaking the silence of LGBT issues in youth education is SESCAL's way to help provide a no-hate environment in schools today.
These teachers will go back to their schools to help the people who aren't here, the students, gay and straight, to understand sexual orientation. In San Diego, I'm Tawny de la Peña for Valley View News.
The Los Angeles Unified School District is facing a critical financial problem. A state report says 7 districts, including Inglewood Unified, don't have enough money to pay for their current and upcoming school years. The deficit for LAUSD has increased to $550 million. District officials will meet on March 13th to decide which programs they will cut to help balance the budget.
More and more students find it necessary to take out a loan because they say free grants that colleges offer are not enough. Cherish Holland has more on the story.
Alumni, graduates, and undergraduates all have one thing in common: student loans. In today's labor force, having a high school diploma just isn't enough. More than ever, companies are making college degrees a mandatory requirement for hiring. But with recent tuition increases, affording college is out of many students' reach. A financial aid counselor at California State Northridge says the increase of student loans may be because grants are no longer enough to cover for a year's tuition.
The free aid, or the gift aid as they call it, has been pretty much stagnant.
And many students have resorted to taking out loans because the free aid is not enough.
I don't get enough financial aid and I can't afford to pay for school.
I don't get enough financial aid, and that's the only way I could pretty much afford the tuition.
Because I need the money for tuition, because every semester tuition goes up.
Tuition will continue to increase, and for some, taking out a loan is inevitable. So what should prospective borrowers do? Alcantar says to educate yourself about the options that are out there.
There are deferment options, there's different repayment plans. I know that there's new recent ones that they put in that are based on contingencies based on the income that you're earning.
But many aren't aware of these options.
I'm informed of some of them, but not too many of them.
No, I'm not. Not quite sure.
You can find one of these booklets at your financial aid department or go on www.ld.ed.gov, and it includes all the different repayment options that best works for you. Also, you can keep track of how much you're borrowing instead of being surprised with how much you owe 6 months after you graduate. Alcantara advises students to educate themselves and be wise when taking out loans. In Northridge, I'm Cherish Holland for Valley View News.
President Obama's proposed budget has money for 2 major Los Angeles transit projects. The plan includes more than $80 million for a subway extension to Westwood and an underground light rail in downtown LA. Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa says the plan will help improve transportation throughout the area. If Obama's proposal gets congressional approval, both projects can begin construction in 2013.
In politics, on the Republican side, GOP contender Rick Santorum criticized Mitt Romney in Romney's home state of Michigan. Santorum said he would fight for the working class against the elites who think they can manage other lives. The statement was directed at Romney's career as a wealthy businessman.
Governor Jerry Brown has failed to get federal funds to pay for California's Medi-Cal program. Brown met with Health and Human Services Secretary Catherine Sebelius in Washington. She said there were legal obstacles to the proposal, but that there were other ways California can save off its health insurance program for the poor. Brown says that the secretary did not specify what those other ways were. The Obama administration denied a similar request by Illinois for leeway in administering health care for the poor. Sebelius' office did not immediately respond to requests for comment.
People in Rancho Palos Verdes are debating whether to turn a nearby beach into a dog beach for their four-legged friends to enjoy. Keandra Stevenson has the story.
The Rancho Palos Verdes Fred Hess Jr. Community Park is the usual spot for the city council meeting. This wasn't the usual meeting. It was a packed house with barely enough seats to accommodate the concerned Rancho Palos Verdes residents. They all came out to discuss their beloved dogs and their beloved beach. The residents frequently visit this secluded beach with their dogs, even though dogs are prohibited. So the city council proposed to look into the possibility of turning the 5-acre Rancho Palos Verdes beach into an official permanent on or off leash dog beach. If approved, the dog beach will be placed right below here, below the Trump Golf Club. With big changes like this to the community comes a big reaction.
A beautiful weekend on a good day, there's usually could be hundreds of dogs, and people, and it's got to be really, if you have...
No, there will be no outbursts from the audience.
The council received an overwhelming amount of community feedback via emails and phone calls. Many longtime residents opposed this change and weren't afraid to voice it.
They're also able to do whatever they want in terms of leaving their messes on the beach and that type of thing.
There should be places for dogs, but not there.
The audience was about equal on their position. 21 residents gave their testimonies during the public hearing.
If my dog had to be on a leash at the beach, he'd kill me.
Whether opposed or for the dog beach, most of the residents at the hearing are dog owners and frequent visitors of the RPV beach location, even the mayor and council members.
I was at the beach as well at the same time, but I didn't see any of you with a friend and my 2 dogs. So we were all there at the same time.
In a 4-1 decision, the council decided to move forward with the planning commission to create a permit system to allow dogs to run off leash on the RPV beach. And dogs like Zizzy right here.
She absolutely loves it.
In Rancho Palos Verdes, I'm Keandra Stevenson for Valley View News.
A big civil lawsuit stemming from the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill has been postponed. BP Chief Executive Robert Dudley said that the company would like to settle if we can do so on fair and reasonable terms. BP has already paid $6.5 billion to thousands of victims in the largest offshore spill in U.S. history.
U.S. gasoline prices are at their highest since 2008. AAA and Oil Price Information Service say gas prices are 25 cents more than a week ago and 56 cents higher than a month ago. Analysts say the increase stems from a fear of shortages because of tension in the Middle East.
Major airlines are raising their fares again because oil prices are going up. Airlines have raised prices between $4 and $10 for a round-trip ticket. To make more money, airlines are charging more for baggage, food, and entertainment. Experts say that if the price of fuel continues to rise, there will be additional fare increases.
22 cruise ship passengers were robbed at gunpoint in Mexico. The passengers traveled by bus on a nature hike in the jungle of Puerto Vallarta, where the robbers took money and other valuables. No one was injured. Officials at Carnival Splendor Cruise Line apologized to the guests for the disturbing event. The cruise line has now suspended the nature trail tour and is working on reimbursing those involved.
Experts are split whether parents should let their infants sleep in the same bed with them. Some say it helps families bond, but critics say it is dangerous for the baby. The American Academy of Pediatrics says bed sharing can increase the chance of the baby being smothered. Advocates of bed sharing say the practice can help parents with their newborn get a better night's sleep. Coming up, tell you who won big at the Academy Awards and who made the history at the NBA All-Star Game.
Here's the scoop.
Now here's Diana Escalona with the latest in entertainment news.
The Academy Awards are over, but the drama on Hollywood and Highland is just getting started. The theater is about to undergo a Hollywood-style facelift. Valley View's Chutney Mehta has the story.
As the biggest names in Hollywood made their way down the red carpet last Sunday, there was one big name missing: Kodak. The Eastman Kodak Company won court approval to remove its name from the Hollywood theater.
It's a shame. It really is a shame.
Like, what are they going to do? Get rid of the Kodak and just have theater?
The million-dollar question is, what will the theater be called? Well, that question has been answered. The theater will now be called the Hollywood and Highland Center. For those tourists who come to Hollywood to snap a picture of the famous theater will soon be a little disappointed. But Oscar fans say that won't stop them from watching future Oscar shows.
Definitely still going to tune in. I want to see how much the dynamic changes.
Kodak has found it difficult to keep up in the digital age and filed for bankruptcy last month when it ran short on cash. Though that hasn't stopped Kodak from being a part of this year's Oscars, 7 of the 9 films nominated were shot on Kodak film. In Hollywood, I'm Chutney Mehta for Valley View News.
The Oscars fashion trend this year was white. The star-studded event standouts include Rooney Mara, who wore a simple Givenchy gown with a plunging neckline, and Jennifer Lopez, who wore a curve-hugging shimmery dress and was rumored to have had a wardrobe malfunction, while Angelina Jolie wore a black velvet Versace gown with a high slit, which became one of the evening's most talked about outfits, with someone even creating a Twitter account for it. Sacha Baron Cohen, star of the movies Borat and Bruno, once again has caused controversy. He arrived at the Oscars wearing an outfit for his new movie, The Dictator. While doing an interview with Ryan Seacrest, he dumped powder all over him. Cohen was then dragged off by security. The Artist was a big winner at the Academy Awards. The movie was a silent film, but its awards were loud enough to show how good it was. It won Best Picture. The Artist also won Best Actor, directing honors, and trophies for design and score. The producer for The Artist, Thomas Langman, dedicated his Best Picture Oscar to his filmmaker father, who died in 2009. Meryl Streep, who holds the record for the most nominations, won last Sunday. It was Streep's third award since her first in 1982. Viola Davis may have been a strong contender to take home the Best Actress, but she said she had a strong feeling it would be Meryl's big night. An actress who did take an Oscar home from The Help was Octavia Spencer, taking home Best Supporting Actress. Act of Valor topped box offices this weekend. It is a fictionalized film about Navy SEALs trying to recover a CIA agent. The exciting film featured real Navy SEALs and brought in $24.7 million. Tyler Perry's Good Deeds came in second with $16 million, and Journey to the Mysterious Island, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, took in $13.5 million for third place. And finally, an upset for Jennifer Aniston and Paul Rudd's romantic comedy, Wanderlust. The film only made $6.6 million. CSUN welcomed fitness guru Richard Simmons to campus in honor of National Recreational Sports Day. Valley View's Jessica Goodman talked with him about how to keep healthy.
Cal State Northridge has gotten an unexpected visit at the new Student Recreation Center from the one and only Richard Simmons to encourage college students to work out as part of his national college tour.
Oh my God, it is so awesome. He is hilarious. I love him with his little wings. I think it's just a great, first person to bring the CSUN to exercise with us.
Over 200 CSUN students came to the SRC in 80s attire to meet and exercise with Simmons. Simmons started off with stretches and moved right into dancing to some of the best modern music.
I was invited to go to a college, and I was a little nervous because I have a lot to say to college students.
Simmons went on to say that college students are dealing with a lot more pressures with the troubling job force and working to find a balance between eating habits and exercise.
Whether I'm teaching at Ohio State University or beautiful California, there's still weight problems there, there's still depression problems there, but where there's a huge problem is low self-worth.
CSUN student Akeisha Nabetta got on the stage with Richard Simmons and did her best to keep up.
Like the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can go through this because like I was so tired. But I kept pushing through it and I was like, you know what? I need to go hard or go home.
After a great workout session, Simmons concluded with a meet and greet with the students.
In Northridge, Jessica Goodman, Valley View News.
Richard Simmons here too. Bye, Valley View News.
Now that's it for entertainment. Back to you.
Now to Marco Morfino with sports.
The NBA season has hit its midpoint and was highlighted by the NBA All-Star Game in Orlando. Let's go to the highlights. Mid-third quarter, Kobe Bryant makes history as he becomes the All-Star Game leading scorer. With the East down late fourth, off a rebound, LeBron hits a big three-pointer to cut the deficit to 3. The West then answers with this monster jam by Russell Westbrook, showing that point guards can get up. Then with the West up 1, Lob City makes an appearance with this follow-up slam by Blake Griffin. The East has one last chance in the final seconds, but Dwayne Wade misses this contested 3, and the West goes on to win 152-149. Kevin Durant finished with 36 points and won the game MVP for the West. Los Angeles Lakers star Kobe Bryant suffered a broken nose at the NBA All-Star Game. Bryant was diving to the basket and was fouled hard by Miami's Dwayne Wade. Kobe stayed in the game, but the CT scan revealed the fracture. This was Kobe's 14th consecutive All-Star game, highest among active players. Miami overcame the loss of a top player to beat Florida State in an NCAA basketball showdown. The Seminoles were heavily favored to win because Miami center Reggie Johnson was ruled ineligible to play. Duran Scott scored 17 points and the Hurricanes beat their number 15 ranked rival 78-62. This win stopped a 6-game skid for Miami. The Los Angeles Kings have made a blockbuster trade. They got center Jeff Carter from the Columbus Blue Jackets. In return, Columbus will receive defenseman Jack Johnson and a first-round pick. 27-year-old Carter was acquired by the Blue Jackets over the summer. He hit the 30-goal mark 3 times in his career. Carter will team once again with Kings center Mike Richards, his former teammate with Philadelphia Flyers. Together, the two led the Flyers to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2010. Ryan Zimmerman is cashing in with the Washington Nationals. The third baseman has agreed to a 6-year, $100 million extension with the Nats. His current contract is set to expire after the 2013 season. The average annual value of Zimmerman's contract is $16.7 million. That's the most for any third baseman behind the Yankees' Alex Rodriguez, who earns $27.5 million.
Coming up, CSUN is getting a makeover. We'll tell you how. And a new art exhibit has come to Los Angeles.
Drivers using fraudulent handicap placards will now be fined with stricter penalties. Regina On has the story.
The LA Department of Transportation's parking enforcement gives 3.2 million citations a year. Sergeant Jesse Dyer explains what happens when someone who isn't disabled parks in a handicap zone.
It's a citation. You'll get a citation for the misuse of the placard, which is $353, and depending on where you're parked, you'll also get a citation for that.
Sergeant Dyer also explains how the disabled community faces many challenges.
Well, parking should not be one of them, and then when there are people who are utilizing these fraudulent placards and parking in spaces, they're taking away from the needs of the disabled community.
Thanks to the LAPD and the Department of Transportation, those who use fraudulent disabled drivers placards will now more than ever be charged a hefty fine. Disabled drivers have the leeway of parking in certain restricted areas. Richard French says he dislikes the fines of parking tickets.
Parking tickets, I think they've always been pretty steep.
And how much is that fine? Tickets can range from $250 all the way up to $1,000. Disabled driver Julie Vasquez talks about her frustrations.
Individuals that seem to abuse the system are really not only making everything harder for everybody else, but the problem is they have absolutely a lack of concern.
It's no surprise many people choose to walk rather than drive and park. In Los Angeles, this is Regina On for Valley View News.
Northridge residents say they are unable to get the city to fix buckled sidewalks. The city says over 40% of the Los Angeles 11,000 miles of sidewalks are damaged. Trees planted decades ago are the leading cause of sidewalk buckling. It's estimated it will cost up to $2 million to fix them. The city quit repairing sidewalks 3 years ago because of budget cuts. Residents have complained, but say the city told them to pay for the repairs themselves.
The Los Angeles County Museum of Art will showcase a collection of gowns inspired by a Renaissance painter. The collection of 10 gowns is inspired by Fra Angelico's early Italian artwork. Designers Kate and Laura Milevi created this line, promising an incomparable experience. The sisters are best known for their work in last year's film, Black Swan. Their various gowns are embellished with feathers, sparkling crystals, sequins, and gold metallics. The collection joins other couture works from well-known designers like Alexander McQueen, Yves Saint Laurent, and Jean-Paul Gaultier.
The actress who played Xena, the warrior princess, has been arrested during a Greenpeace protest. Lucy Lawless was among 6 Greenpeace members who say they were charged with burglary for boarding an oil drilling ship. Lawless got onto the ship, preventing it from reaching the Arctic, where Shell Oil was going to conduct exploratory drilling. The actress says renewable energy must be used instead of, in her words, sucking out every last drop of oil.
After a lot of confusion, the Los Angeles Board of Supervisors has cleared up a misunderstanding about fines at the county beaches. Valley View's Mike Gumbard has more on the story.
I went down to Venice Beach to see what people thought about a fine for throwing balls on the beach. I also spoke with a Board of Supervisors press deputy to clear up inaccurate reports about the fine.
A false report on a $1,000 fine for throwing footballs and frisbees at the beach is causing public outcry. A report was released 2 weeks ago saying that Los Angeles County would be fining people $1,000 for throwing balls on crowded beaches. The Board of Supervisors voted to have the law rewritten to allow the activities, but some say the rule was a waste of time to begin with.
I thought it was pretty ridiculous. Most people come to the beach, hang out with their friends. It's an activity to do. It's a public beach. If you don't want to get hit with a football or a frisbee, don't sit so close to the water.
It was ridiculous. I mean, we have bigger problems in this city to worry about, and it's just not it's limiting our liberties, I think. It's very oppressive.
The 40-year-old ordinance is being changed to allow footballs and frisbees on the beach. But the county board says reporters got it wrong.
They not only incorporated the erroneous $1,000 fine issue, but they misconstrued what the board had done and interpreted it incorrectly as imposing a whole new set of restrictions on ball playing and frisbee throwing. Instead of recognizing that the old ordinance had banned everything and that there would now be a number of new opportunities under the relaxed ordinance.
The ordinance is inactive except during peak seasons in summer when lifeguards or police officers deem it a hazard to others. A rule that is being kept in the county ordinance that not many people know about restricts people from digging a hole deeper than 18 inches.
The lifeguards felt very strongly about this because they have rescued small children from cave-ins, you know, where you're digging a hole and it's fun and then the sand collapses in, and that can be extremely dangerous very quickly.
Sports players can look forward to playing ball at the beach this summer as long as they're mindful of others soaking up the sun.
As long as people follow the orders of lifeguards and police patrolling the beach, fines shouldn't be an issue for beachgoers. Now back to you in the studio.
Escondido police say they broke up a neighborhood cockfight and rescued about 50 roosters. A neighbor alerted police after hearing cockfights at a house. Authorities say Martin Flores Padron was arrested on suspicion of animal cruelty and being in the country illegally.
The co-author of Berenstein Bears, Jan Berenstein, has died. The 88-year-old author suffered a stroke along with her husband. They created the Bear family and more than 300 stories.
Officials at Denmark's Scandinavian Wildlife Park have made one polar bear the ambassador for all polar bears. Siku was introduced to the public last year, and he has quickly become an internet sensation with his own website and Facebook page. Siku's first day on the job was on International Polar Bear Day, of course.
Thank you for watching Valley View News. I'm Jessica Goodman.
And I'm Raul Delgado. Have a great day.